Okay, so we're now into day 2. And we're going to follow a very similar format to what we covered in day 1. We have 3 exercises once again, and we're going to complete these. We're going to do 1 round of each of them, and then go on to the next movement, then to the next, followed by a longer period of rest, and then we're going to repeat for a total of 5 rounds. I'll move a little closer so you can see this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a press. We can do either from the floor. If you have a bench, you can do it on a bench, but these are great from the floor as well if you don't have the equipment. The next is we're going to do a deadlift. It's a hinge. It's a hinging motion. We'll talk about that. And then the last thing we're going to do is a carry. These are so valuable. You can do them with just about anything, anywhere. And yeah, they're just great. So those are our 3 movements for today. So same pattern here. I'm going to start, hopefully you can see me on this. I'm going to start with a floor press. You can press them 2 at a time. We can press them 1 at a time. And look, this is very versatile. Whatever you have, you can make this work. If you don't have a barbell and a bench, no big deal. I can press the kettlebell. I can even press the sandbag. And you can do a lot of weight. This is a very strong movement. So if you're just starting out and this is what you have, and you do enough reps of this, this will get you stronger. So that's our first exercise, 8 to 12 reps. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a hinge. You need to watch a video to do this. I'm not going to spend time talking about it right here, but you need to learn what a hinge is. I think I might have showed this recently, but a hinge is going to look more like that, and a squat looks like this. They're very different. The hinge is very glute driven, and we're sending the hips back, and then we're firing the glutes and the hamstrings to come back up to neutral. So we're going to do, now for this one, this is going to be different than the other exercises that we did. We're only going to do 5 to 8 reps. So here I've got this kettlebell, I'm going to hinge. I don't need to do 5 to 8 with each arm. This is not an arm exercise. The arm is just holding the kettlebell. So you can hold it with one arm. It's going to create a little bit different some bracing that's going to be needed to do that. Or you can do it with 2, but 5 to 8 total reps with the hinge. And then we're going to take 20 to 30 seconds rest, just like we did on day 1. And then we're going to do our third exercise. So a carry. I prefer single arm carries versus double, but you can do the farmer's walk with both hands. You can do single arm carry, and I want you to walk 20 to 30 seconds. We're not walking fast, but we're not walking slow. We're walking with intention. And my whole objective here is to grip this weight, have a good grip on it, walk and keep my body upright, and being very aware of my feet and the placement of them as they touch the ground. And I'm really feeling each step as I go. So 20 to 30 seconds of carry. And like I said, I love this because I can take this one weight, I can carry it here. I can carry it here. I can carry it overhead and walk. These all challenge the body in very different ways. And if you only have 1 or 2 pieces of equipment, you can make this a lot more challenging. This may not be very heavy to carry here at your side, but try carrying it here, or try carrying it here, and now walk for 20 or 30 seconds. And it's going to be a whole different movement, and you don't need as much weight in order to make it effective. So, again, let's run through this. We're going to press from the floor. I'm going to do my 8 to 12 reps here. And something I skipped over in the first video, or that I saw that I wasn't very happy with that I did, is, understand what a good rep is. So I'm not going to talk about form, but a good rep, you really want to own each position of the movement. So don't just skip through and do, this is what I was doing in the first video, I realized. That's not how I lift. But don't do this. I want you to own the movement. You don't have to hang out here, but you should be able to pause, come back down. And we use a lot of breath when moving and when we lift. So that's another thing we'll talk about later, but really want you to just own the movements and don't just gloss through them. Do your 8 to 12 reps with your press. Then we're going to go back and do our 5 to 8 reps with our hinge, our deadlift. Once I've done my 5 to 8 reps, if you need to, take 20, 30 seconds, take a few good cycles of breath, let the nervous system kind of just regulate for a moment, and then I want you to carry. We'll go ahead and carry for 20 to 30 seconds. This should be challenging. Don't start off with the most challenging weight, but once you've done a couple carries, I want you to make this hard. It should be uncomfortable. And that's something else we'll speak to, but we have to learn to be uncomfortable, become comfortable being uncomfortable, and especially with the carry, there's not a whole lot of skill involved, so that's something that you can progress pretty quickly, where it should not be a walk in the park to walk 20 to 30 seconds. If whatever weight you have isn't enough, sure, then maybe you need to walk a little bit farther, or in case of the sandbag, fill that thing up some more. But we should want to get to these where these become challenging and uncomfortable. Once we've done that, third exercise with the carry, now we're gonna rest. Take 1 to 2 minutes. Let everything really rest, grab some water, whatever you need to, and then we're gonna start back at the top. So again, we're gonna run through these 5 times. If you only have time to do 4 rounds, great. 4 rounds is awesome. If you only have time to do 3 rounds, that's also great. 3 rounds is awesome, especially if you're starting with 0. So get a good warm up in like we did last time, 5 to 10 minutes, dynamic movements. Don't stretch, but move the body. So stretching is here, and I'm just holding this for a long time, whereas a dynamic movement, it can be very gentle, but you're moving and you can increase the intensity. I'm twisting. I'm putting the body getting all the joints lubricated and putting the body into different positions to get primed for movement. And then I want to get my heart rate up a little bit. So that's what a warm-up should look like. And again, there's tons of things you can do for that, but get the heart rate elevated, start flossing the joints, getting the joints moving. We do our main set, which is going to be 5 rounds of each exercise together as one set, followed by rest. And then when you finish, if you have time, feel free to do something else if you want to. If you're at the gym and you're like, I want to get an hour in, great. Walk on the treadmill uphill for 20 minutes. Do some other type of more, what I would call more accessory exercises. But these are your main lifts, and these will go very, very far. You work almost all the major muscle groups when we do these compound movements, especially when we do a upper and lower body movement in the same day. You just can't beat it. So that's day 2. I will do one more video for an optional day 3 where we're going to combine a couple of these things. But these are the main movements. We've covered essentially 5 main movements plus a carry so far. And if you really can just dedicate the next 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks even to just learning these movements. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but I promise you, you can get very, very strong. You can get very, very fit if you get good at these. And to get good is different than to be proficient even at it. I'm talking about really elevating your level to where you're dialed in, you're progressing over the weeks and months in weight and your efficiency in moving the weight. You can become very, very strong and very, very fit from just a very simple program like this once you learn how to apply some basic principles. So that's where I want you to start. Understand these movements, keep it simple. Again, this can be done in 20 to 30 minutes, plus a little bit of warm-up time and whatever else you want to do at the end. You don't need an hour. If you can get a couple pieces of equipment, you don't even need to go to the gym. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to remove all the barriers to why we can't get movement in, why we can't make this stuff happen. Make this stuff possible. It is so worth it. I promise you that. This becomes a lifelong practice. And again, something like a kettlebell, a couple sets of dumbbells or a sandbag, it will really go a long, long way to helping you get this stuff in. And it makes the rest of your day better, I promise. You've had a crappy day, a busy day at work, whatever stresses of life. This is a retreat from that, and it's one that is doing something good for you for the long haul. So let's stick with it. If you've got questions, reach out. And again, if you have questions on form, check on YouTube, check for our videos. There's tons of great ones out there. And if you really want me to dial in with you on it, send me a video of what you're working with, and we'll troubleshoot it together and get you set up and running. So as always, thank you. We'll see you here soon, and let's keep moving.